All right, I have gotten out my math journal, and I would like for you to go get it. If you haven't brought yours to the computer, press pause, go get it, and come right back. Okay, so if you have your math journal, this group is working on equations and word problems. So at the top of your page, you're going to write equations and word problems. That's what I'm going to write on my page too. Okay, press pause and take a second to copy this. All right, once you have that copied, you're going to, first of all, we have to remember what is an equation. An equation has to have an equal sign. Okay, so just to remind myself, I put an equation, has to have an equal sign to it. Our equations in 4th grade also need a variable. Remember what a variable is? It's a letter that stands for a number. A number we don't know. Okay, so a variable is a letter that stands for a number. An equation has to have an equal sign. Make sure you have this written down. Press pause if you need an extra second. Okay, so for example, an equation that we could have would be 8 plus b equals 27. Okay, there is an equal sign, so it has to be an equation. There is a variable, so we have 8 plus b equals 27. Now what we're trying to figure out the answer to is we're trying to figure out what does b stand for. It is a number, but what number does it take the place of? So we also learned that we can turn equations around some if we need to. This equation, if you look at it, is an addition equation. So we can make an addition triangle, kind of like we did with multiplication and division. We know that the total is 27. We know that 8 plus something is going to give us 27. We're just not sure what that something is. But then we could reverse it because we know the inverse operation of addition, the opposite, is subtraction. So we could take 27 and subtract 8. 27 subtract 8 would give us our answer. So see if you can figure out that answer. All right. Moving along, what we're trying to figure out is how do we take a word problem and write an equation for it. So we're going to look at a word problem and then we're going to see if we can write the equation. All right, so here's our word problem. Miss Gus is 4 years older than her sister. Her sister is 20. So how old is Miss Gus? Now I think you know the answer to this problem. It's a pretty easy one, but the point of the problem is not to figure out the answer, but to figure out what equation would match with it. Okay, so we have Miss Gus is 4 years older than her sister. We know how old her sister is, but how old is Miss Gus is what we're trying to figure out. So we say that Miss Gus is her sister's age plus 4. So we know we're saying plus 4. Well, we know her sister's age, so we can put in 20. 20 plus 4 equals, we don't know how old Miss Gus is, so we need to put in a variable to mark our spot till we figure out that number. So the variable I'd like to pick right there is G for Miss Gus. So we have 20 plus 4 equals Miss Gus's age, G. So when I'm done, I would figure out 20 plus 4 is 24 equals G. We're talking about years old, so we need to label it 24 years old. So while you're working on variables and equations and word problems, I want to make sure that you're really getting the whole thing written down like this, where you make sure that you have an equal sign and some sort of letter in your equation to match the word problem that you're doing, either in your textbook or on IXL.com or however you're practicing. Make sure that you're using this sort of equation with a variable in it.